Right.
But it doesn't feel like that anymore. You know, now it seems like as the age of information has gotten us to this 2012 date, like where we're at right now, it's so easy to get information that the people are just so much more cynical about their intentions. So if you see laws like this, like what's the motivation to crack down more on civil liberties? Is it just to make it easier for them? I mean, is it to create bigger government? What is the motivation for that?
Well, it is fear and some perception of the necessity of taking friction out of the system that will keep us safe or respond to an attack or detect an attack. And it's understandable. When you think about what the president's daily briefing must look like, it's got to be absolutely terrifying. And the reality of the prospect of nuclear terrorism is like once you actually just put those goggles on and say, yes, the nuclear non-proliferation is more or less a lost cause. The technology is spreading, the material is spreading. You got 30,000 out-of-work scientists in the former Soviet Union who are not taken care of, who have every economic incentive to not be entirely ethical. So if you feel, as many people do, that it's just a matter of time that a nuke in some form gets into the hands of terrorists, and we have a massively porous border. The joke is, if you want to get nukes into the U.S., you just hide it in a bale of marijuana. I mean, it's like we can't fight the war on drugs. So the idea that we can keep everything out is pretty much a pipe dream. So when you start thinking about the idea of a nuke going off in a major American city, and forget about the loss of life, just what would that do to the world economy? It's easy to see how the paranoia ramps up. So I don't. It's hard. These are obviously hard calls to make for anyone. And you're going to look. Just imagine the day after an act of terrorism, orders of magnitude bigger than September 11th. What to have to talk about the reasons why we didn't do all these things that we could have done to keep us safe. So I share your concerns about infringing on civil liberties, but it's just
the way you look
scary.
At it,
Yeah.
it's scarier on the other side. It's scary. The threat is scary.
I think the threat of nuclear terrorism is quite real, and anyone who thinks that it's not, or that's just fear mongering, I just think it's not. It's not reading the books or papers of experts whose job it is to actually worry about this. It's just not a. It's a real problem. So the question is, in the face of that, what do you do? And I'm as annoyed as the thing you don't do is force everyone to take their shoes off in airports until the end of time. I mean, so like we're so inefficient in how we filter, and so yeah. I mean, it's a big problem. It's a problem actually I don't know that much about. I mean, my file on what we should do is pretty thin, but it's pretty clear that every time I'm in an airport and I see some old Norwegian lady who obviously is not a terrorist submitting to the same search as somebody who looks like Osama bin Laden, it seems like a misallocation of attentional resources. So.
Yeah, it seems ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's just the idea behind it. So, and you know what else freaks me out is all the fucking radiation. How much radiation are those big body scanners? Is that something to be concerned about?
I don't know. But I would be concerned that